Hello and welcome to the MyHeritage webinar series. I'm Jeff Rasmussen, your host, broadcasting to you live from webinar headquarters in Middleton, Idaho. Today we have both Rafi Mendelsohn and Roy Mandel with us, who are live at MyHeritage headquarters in Or Yehuda, Israel, for their class, True Stories of Families Reunited, thanks to Genealogy. So thanks to them, and thanks to the more than 1,200 of you from 23 countries around the world for registering for today's live webinar. So wherever and whenever you are, glad to have you with us. And now I'd like to introduce our speakers. First, Rafi Mendelsohn is the Director of Public Relations and Social Media at MyHeritage. With over 10 years in PR and marketing, Rafi has worked with multinationals, startups, technology companies, SMBs, and governments, helping them with their communications. At MyHeritage, he works to get the word out there about the amazing power of genetic genealogy and all the stories that come with it. He's related to the famous composer Felix Mendelssohn, but unfortunately he says he has not inherited any of his musical abilities. I'm also happy to introduce Roy Mandel, who has 15 years of experience in journalism as a news and magazine correspondent and has a great love of history and human stories. Roy is responsible for finding and researching the amazing stories of MyHeritage users and reuniting families all over the world. He and his team are also using MyHeritage's incredible database every day to shed light on historical figures and events. Married with 2 children, Roy was born in Israel and has a BA in Media Studies and History. He joined MyHeritage in 2015, immediately making his mark with the Real Uncle Sam story that was published in the New York Times, and an intensive historical research on the Jewish community in Corfu, Greece. In the past 3 years, he has facilitated many family reunions of MyHeritage users around the world. So please put together your virtual hands and let's give Rafi Mendelsohn and Roy Mandel a nice warm webinar welcome. So guys, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Hey Jeff, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, and so good to have both of you and this topic today with us. True Stories of Families Reunited thanks to genetic genealogy. And so the time is all yours. Thanks again.
Hi guys, well it's Rafi Mendelsohn speaking here. I'm the one with the British accent, so you'll be able to pick me out by the accent, and Roy has the smooth Israeli accent. So that's how you'll know who is speaking at which times. It's a real pleasure to speak to you guys. This is the first time that either of us are presenting on a webinar like this, and it's a real honor to do so. And thanks Jeff for all of your help. We're going to be spending the next 45 minutes, hour plus, talking about just some of the amazing stories that we have had the fortunate luck to work on. We come across so many different stories at MyHeritage, and we're just going to talk about some of the stories and the stories behind the stories that we're going to talk through. So if I just take over the screen, hopefully this is all going to work. Just to say before we kick off, thanks to everyone who's already left their comments and questions. It's great to see so many people dialing in from around the world. Please continue to let us know where you're calling in from, and of course what the weather is like. I'd be doing a disservice to my English heritage if I wasn't enthusiastic about speaking about the weather. So please let us know where you're calling in from and what you're seeing out the window today. And so we're going to skip through to the next slide. Before we delve in to some of these amazing stories, I wanted to alert you to a pro bono project that MyHeritage kicked off just under 2 weeks ago. It's something that we are really excited about and that we really want to get the word out, and we're hoping that you would be able to help us with it today. It's called DNA Quest. Some of the stories that we're going to talk through over the next hour, the theme that runs through all of them are that they are adoptees or people searching for their biological family. And thankfully, those have had a fantastic result, and they've come to the end of their journey in finding their family. However, there are so many more. And so MyHeritage has decided to run a pro bono project in the US for adoptees in the first phase. And we are going to be giving away over $1 million worth of kits, around about 15,000 DNA kits to adoptees. The aim of the project is to try and have as many people who are looking for their biological family to be able to access DNA kits and genetic genealogy. We're going to give special preference to those that are not in a financial position to do so, and we want to help as many people as possible. So if you are adopted, if you're looking for your biological family, we urge you to go onto dnaquest.org and fill out the basic information. There's also lots more information on there about the project, about our partners, and I'll be explaining it a bit more at the end of the webinar. If you are not adopted or you're not searching for your biological family, however, you know of other people that are, please, we urge you to share it with them and to try and help get the word out, to post it on your social media pages and just to tell everyone you know, so that we can try and help as many people. The applications are open in March and April, and then in May we're going to be sending out 15,000 DNA kits. And so over June and July we hope to have a massive impact across the US, where we're affecting positively thousands of families across the country. So that's something I wanted to introduce right at the beginning, before we go on to talk about some of the stories that we have worked on. So if there is one slide to encapsulate some of the work that we've done, or the work that we're proudest of, I think this slide would do it. We're incredibly proud of the reunions we've helped families with. And at MyHeritage, we try and go above and beyond to help those families. So people get in touch, as you're going to hear very soon. People get in touch with us. They want to know more information. They may have taken a test, but they are almost there in finding their biological family, but we need to help them go that last mile. And we might help them with providing extra tests to test family members, maybe even to contact the family that they found on their behalf, and to step in if they would like with additional research, especially as Roy is going to talk through some of the additional research we've done, or even take part and help facilitate in the reunion itself in that special moment. And so this is something we're very proud of. And this slide is an example of just some of the reunions that we've seen over the last year to year and a half. However, behind these images are amazing stories, happy endings, and there are also dozens of other stories and dozens of other reunions that we're really proud to have seen through MyHeritage DNA. Excuse me. And so these stories, we feel that it's obviously important to help people come together, but then also we feel it's important to tell their stories because it gives inspiration to others. And every single time we see a reunion and a connection like these, and like the ones we're going to talk through over the next hour, we see the impact that has on social media, online, across the emails that we receive of people telling us that these stories are giving them inspiration, and that they've been searching for many years. They may have even given up hope, and now it's seeing these stories that help them pick up that story again. And so actually one just very good example is the bottom left image, and the daughter who found her mother, she was watching Fox and Friends, and we actually a few months ago, or last year, we DNA tested the hosts of Fox and Friends, and we announced and we revealed live on air their DNA results. And Suzanne Colton, who was watching, who was adopted and been searching for over 30 years for her mother, she saw that. She had actually taken a DNA test from another company, didn't realize that you could upload it to MyHeritage for free. She did so, and on the morning of Mother's Day, she received her results, which connected her to a biological uncle. And then she had never met before. She contacted this uncle, and within an hour or two later, she was on the phone to her biological mother. So seeing these stories And telling these stories has an impact and provides inspiration to so many people out there, and is that kind of pass it forward process that we feel that then helps other people. So before we delve into these amazing stories, I just want to highlight the work and why it's important and how it all comes together. So our focus is on being the best genetic genealogy company in the world. And I'll explain why that's important. Our mission at MyHeritage is to help people preserve, share, and discover their family history. But genetic genealogy is something that is in the back of our mind in everything that we do. And so all of you on the call today and on the webinar will have seen how popular DNA tests have become. If you haven't done one yourself, you'll know of people that have done it. Over Christmas in particular, over the last few months, it seemed to be the gift that everyone was giving their families and friends, and it's become very, very popular. However, a lot of the times you may have seen, we certainly see, that a lot of the focus, whether in the media or when people talk about their DNA test, is on their ethnicities. Or even worse, it's about how much Neanderthal they are, which is interesting to a certain extent, but it's like getting a really great present and then throwing away the present and only playing with the box. You're not really realizing when you do a DNA test the full potential of what that can achieve. And so just delving in the ethnicities, there's much, much more, and that's when you really look at the matches. Additionally, the top right image refers to the fact that if you are yourself looking for a biological family, you may have even been adopted, and it may be very difficult to have access to adoption papers depending on which country or which state you live in. But even as a genealogist generally, you may come across your dead ends, your brick walls, or the paper records, the historical records that you're looking for are just proving a bit elusive. And so you may just be looking through one area and doing that through genealogy. But genetic genealogy is the combination of both family history work, the painstaking but enjoyable genealogical work that we all love, but also the powerful science of DNA testing. And that's why we encourage as many people to do DNA test, but also to use the findings and use your matches to be able to expand, grow, start your family tree. And it's the combination of both that yields such a powerful impact. And so we're going to talk now through 3 amazing stories. We're going to explain their journey and show you some videos about their story. Before we do, I just warn you to have some tissues ready. I've seen many of these videos dozens of times. However, they still reduce me to tears. So get ready and don't say you weren't warned. So I'm going to pass you over to Roy.
Thanks, Rafi. I have my tissue with me. Hi, everyone. My name is Roy Mendel. I'm the head of the research team in MyHeritage. And I'm very happy to be here and grateful for this opportunity to share some of our amazing stories with you. I think after Rafi's introduction about the amazing DNA quest, it only makes sense that we will start and dive into the first story. And this story is very unique, not only because it was one of our first DNA match stories that we had in MyHeritage, but because it was a story that integrated DNA and comprehensive genealogy research. And in fact, it was 2 successful stories in one story. So let's start from the beginning. This is the story of Sheila Grant and Kyle Golden. Sheila Grant is 50 years old from Colorado. She was adopted as a child, and in November 2016, she posted on Facebook an interesting message. Let me read this to you. She posted, "To everyone wondering about uploading their DNA to MyHeritage, got my best match so far on there. And not only I'm closer to solving my 50 years old mystery of who my birth dad is, I've found 243 centimorgan match, and it's solving this young man's search for his dad. Hooray, DNA." Now, this story immediately catch our eyes, and I contacted Sheila, and here is what she wrote me. She wrote me, I matched a young man named Carl Golden. I didn't find him anywhere else but my heritage. Sheila told me that she was adopted, and although she loves her adoptive parents, she always wanted to know who she is and where she came from. She wrote, truth is better than secrets, even if the truth sucks. Now, her journey starts 24 years ago, where she was able to get her adoption records, and with them, she found out who was her biological mother. Here you can see her as a baby. When she spoke with the biological mother, the mother told her that she was only 18 when she got pregnant, and the biological father was a young man whom she had a one-night encounter with him just before he was shipped to Vietnam. And now, as a professional genealogist, she used the DNA matches to create a huge family tree with over 20,000 people in the family tree, with a few optional lines for the biological father. And eventually, she had a few candidates for the biological father of her. Now, the match to Kyle was very, very significant for her. When she got the match to him, one thing catch her eyes. In Kyle's family tree, in my heritage, there was only a few peoples there, but the family name, was very familiar to her. It was Martin. Now, Martin, she knew this family name because she, as I told you before, she created a huge family tree with a few lines. One of the lines were Martin. So Kyle wrote back and told her his story. He was born in 85. His mom, who is the Golden, she got pregnant when she was stationed in Germany in the Air Force. She was also a soldier, and she always told him about his birth dad, and told him, share with him his name. His name was Benjamin Martin. Now, he never got anywhere with that, but the name catch her eyes, and she knew that through this Martin, she may be able to solve his mystery, but not only that, she might find her biological father. So Sheila could instantly go look in her big tree and figure out who is the birth dad, and she found a name, Benjamin Leroy Martin, which makes sense. He was born in 54, and he served in the Air Force, and it seemed to be the right guy for Kyle. So with Kyle's permission, they both reach out to his identified siblings and found out that he has a half-sibling named Melissa. Now, this was a shock to Melissa and to Kyle. He knew that his father is somewhere, and he knew that it might be able to find siblings, but he never thought it would be so fast. So he contacted Melissa. Apparently, Melissa did a DNA test, not in MyHeritage, but she was able to upload her results to MyHeritage, and immediately she got a match of 28%, exactly like half siblings should be. But not only that, her match to Kyle was on the same line of her biological father. They figured out that both of the fathers were cousins. So thanks to the match with Kyle, Sheila was able to contact the father. She had a name, Warren Martin, and she picked up the phone and called him, and the man who answered was quite shocked. And after a few minutes of hearing Sheila's story, he told her, yeah, that's me. I'm your father. So this was very, very exciting for both Sheila and Kyle. On February 2017, Sheila went to Louisiana and met her biological father for the first time. We can, in a few minutes, you'll be able to see the picture. And yeah, here's the picture from the reunion between Sheila and her father Warren, and on the left it's her half-sister, a daughter of Warren Martin. And this reunion was in Phoenix, in Warren's house. And 6 months after, it was Carl's turn to reunite with his family. So here you can see a picture of him together with his wife and two kids, and Melissa on the right. They met each other in a nice hotel in New York area where when Kyle lives, and I think this is the exact time when you should see the video, the amazing video of the reunion between Kyle and his sister, Melissa.
I always wanted to know what my background was, my lineage, because my mother was adopted and we have no information from her side whatsoever. Just determine who I was or where I came from.
I was born in Germany. My mother met my father when she was in the Air Force and stationed at Ramstein, and I always wanted to know my dad's side of my family and possibly find my father. I grew up not knowing my father, and then I joined the Army when I was 21. Did 4.5 years in the Army, did 2 tours to Iraq. I saw an ad about my heritage online, and because of wanting to know my background, it seemed like a really good resource to use. And I had a cousin, Sheila. She was the initial one who contacted me. It went from, hey, you have some family, you have some cousins, and then, by the way, you have a sister. What? I have a sister?
I'm already doing it. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Very happy.
When I was younger, I always wondered what it'd be like, to have that brother or sister there, the one to torture and torment and have fun, play games, and grow up with.
And once we made the connection through myheritage.com, I was like, are we really going to make a connection where we're going to be a family and make this a lifelong connection and our families grow up and grow old together? I think MyHeritage has provided an invaluable tool. I mean, to be able to reconnect or to connect individuals that have lost touch, it's kind of priceless. Having found each other, there was really no words to describe how you can feel at that moment.
If it wasn't for MyHeritage, would never have known.
So this is the very exciting movie of Kyle and Melissa. And there is a moment, I don't know if you notice it, this moment makes me always feel so excited. At this moment, Kyle is standing next to his new sister and scratching her head with his hand, annoying her like brother used to do. And they are both laughing. I think this is the most beautiful moment in this video. And so here you saw one match led to 2 reunions of 2 people who never knew each other before, and thanks to MyHeritage DNA, was able to find their biological fathers and to basically to close a full circle in their lives. Back to you, Rafi.
Thanks, Roy. Thank you, everyone who stayed on the line or rejoined. It'll be well worth the effort because we're just getting started, and I hope you enjoyed the first story and first video. So we're going to go through to the next one to talk about an amazing story that took place, an amazing reunion that took place last year between Meribeth Blackwell and Angie Oracoy. And it was just a fantastic story to be able to see. And some of you on the line may have actually seen it yourselves. So Meribeth herself, she's early 30s. She lives in Montgomery, Alabama. She was adopted at childhood and had fantastic adopted parents and was very, very lucky. And even though she had a fantastic upbringing, she always wanted to know where her family, her biological family, are and wanted to connect with them. And so she spent a lot of time, a lot of effort and energy into trying to find her biological family for over 2 decades. And unfortunately had nothing to show for it. She had taken a DNA test not with MyHeritage, but with another company, and nothing came of it. She didn't have any matches that she was able to connect. However, she saw a post and was a member of DNA Detectives, which some of you on the webinar may have heard of and be a member of. It's a fantastic resource. It's a great Facebook page run by our friend CC Moore, who does brilliant work, and the administrators and the angels, search angels that are involved in that group do fantastic work helping those people that are searching for their biological family. So Meribeth she had taken a DNA test, didn't have anything to show for it. She was on the DNA Detectives page where someone recommended that she upload her DNA test for free to MyHeritage. And it's probably a good opportunity to remind everyone that hasn't done that. If you've taken a DNA test, not with MyHeritage, for free you can upload it. So just go on the MyHeritage website and there'll be an option to upload, and there's absolutely no charge. And so, why not? But that will also, by uploading your DNA, you'll be able to make use of all of the tools, MyHeritage DNA, and also have increased matches with people that you may not have matched with, or you will not have matched with, especially matches around the world. So Meribeth did that, and then she uploaded her DNA results, and immediately she received a match to a mother. And so we saw something amazing. She posted on the DNA Detectives page, help, uploaded last week, and she logged in and found a mother. What do I do now? And so we saw this on the DNA Detectives page. Lots of us are members of it, and it's just brilliant to see all the posts and all the help that people and the community give each other. And we were alerted to it also by as Meribeth had said that she had uploaded to MyHeritage. So she had a lot of questions, and she had matched to her mother, and she had loads of questions as to what's that next step. And many people do, even when they do get that match, they have questions of how they should proceed, what is the best approach, and now that they are so close, how do they get over the line and make sure it's a happy story and a happy ending. And so she posted it to DNA Detectives. This is her match that she received, 48.3%, which makes sense with a mother. And she was able to get all of that information with a woman called Angela Oracoy, who she had never, ever met before. Angie had purchased the MyHeritage kit. She was also looking for her daughter and wanted to try and find her. She had purchased and done a test with MyHeritage DNA a few weeks earlier, and was also amazed to see the match that she had got. And Angie herself lived in New Orleans. She was 20 when she fell pregnant, and she had actually married Meribeth's father, and then went on to have another child. So in fact, Meribeth had a full brother, as well as a couple of half siblings. So there was a family that were there waiting to meet Meribeth, and Meribeth had spent many years waiting and looking and searching for them. And so it was amazing to see all of this happen after so many years of waiting, and happen in a short space of time. And what we did is we worked with Meribeth and with Angie. They wanted to tell their story, and so we also worked with Good Morning America, the fantastic show, and to also see if they wanted to tell their story on Good Morning America, and in fact meet for the very first time on Good Morning America. Meribeth, such a lovely, fantastic ending that I think we can all take inspiration from. She has reunited with all of her family, the mother, she's met with her father, the full brother, and also half siblings. And Meribeth has 3 children of her own. She's married and has 2 lovely boys and a daughter who I had the pleasure of meeting in New York when they were on the show, and who were also really delighted to meet a new family. So I'm going to play for you, if you just give me 2 seconds, the clip of them meeting for the very first time. Get your tissues ready, because it's a good one.
A wonderful story. to share with everybody a remarkable reunion just moments away, 31 years in the making for this woman, Meribeth, standing right here with me. She's going to meet her biological mother for the first time. But first, we want you to hear her story. Angie Oracoy was a teenage mother who gave up her baby for adoption in 1986. Mother and daughter separated at birth.
I heard her cry, and they were coming to bring her over to me, and then someone in the room said, no, 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 she's putting her up for adoption. So they took her, they didn't bring her.
She snuck a peek at her in the nursery as she left the hospital.
I really believed in my heart that she could have a family that could support her, and that I did not have to offer.
Her daughter, Meribeth, was adopted by Rick and Diane Smith, who could not have children.
At the age of 6, I was told I was adopted.
Lots of unanswered questions.
Even going to the doctor, they would ask, you know, what is your medical history? And I would never know.
The growing pains of being a teenager only deepened Meribeth's pain of not knowing her biological mother.
It's hard because you love your adoptive parents so much, but at the same time, you just wonder where you belong.
For 30 years, they both wondered.
I would see people and literally hear girls and think, is that her? I wonder if that's her.
We thought about taking a trip to New Orleans just to see maybe if I could see anybody that I looked like, or if I was going to ever run into her.
As life marched on, Angie had 3 more children. Meribeth had 3 kids of her own. For years, she looked online and hit lots of dead ends and heartache.
I finally got to a point where I was just done searching. I didn't ever think it was going to happen.
Then, one day, on myheritage.com, the search ended.
A screen came up with my DNA results, and it said estimated relationship, mother.
It said it was my daughter.
Communicating only by text and email.
We think it's best that we both hear each other's voices for the first time in person.
Catching up, learning about each other and their families.
The first thing I'm going to do is hug her and give her a big kiss. Definitely. Take her in my arms, because I didn't get that chance.
Oh, my. How are you, Meribeth?
I'm good.
That was the first
Thank
time
you for having me.
You're very welcome. That was the first time you even heard your mother's voice. The emotions that you're feeling right now?
It's all overwhelming and so surreal.
We know this has been 31 years in the making. First time you're going to meet your mom. So if you don't mind, can you stand up for us?
Yeah.
We're going to stay down here.
Okay.
Just,
You want me
and we're
to
going to
stay
have,
here?
we're going to have, yeah, just,
Okay.
we're going to have your mom come on out. So Angie, come on out and meet your daughter, Meribeth.
Oh my God, you're beautiful. Oh my God. You're so beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
How you doing?
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How are you?
Hi. Looking so pretty. Thank you.
For you.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Goodness gracious.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Imagine so. You know, you've waited for this moment. You were not able to when you were in the hospital. We saw in the story about how you wanted to hold her, and the nurses said because she was being adopted, you couldn't, so.
Oh my God, I know, it's so awesome. It's wonderful. It's such a good feeling. It feels so natural too. It's good.
And you wrote a letter to her that she never got to read. What did it say?
In my letter, I hope to express to her that she never felt that I didn't want her, and that I truly was hoping that she would forgive me and understand my reason for doing it was so that she could have a life that was better than I could provide.
And your adoptive parents, absolutely beautiful, and everything that your biological mother wanted for you, you did receive.
Yes, very much so.
And they have a message for
they just want to say thank you, and that you gave them a blessing that they cannot receive. So they love you for doing that, and we'll be forever grateful.
So I'm sorry to have to cut that short, and I'll give you a moment to wipe away the tears. I've seen that a few times, and I have to say it gets me every single time. If you want to see all of the video, you can see it on the MyHeritage YouTube page, where we have those and all of the videos that you've seen today, and you can watch all of that in full if you could be dared to, because it's powerful stuff. But don't say we didn't warn you. So it was fantastic to see Meribeth and Angie come together. We've been in touch with them since, and they've met a couple of times again, and they're in constant regular contact, Meribeth with her mother but also her siblings, and so it's been fantastic, and it's just been a really happy ending and a great story, and so we were so delighted to see that come together and to be part of their pretty life-changing moment, and see this happy ending occur, and so we're going to move on to another amazing story, and this is our last one that we're going to be talking through. As I mentioned, you can find a whole load of other videos on the MyHeritage YouTube page, but let's go on to Karen and Cathy. So I'm just going to play the video.
Okay, now this is excitement.
There were many times where I gave up. I didn't know anything. I didn't have a name. I didn't have any information to go on except that I was born in Pittsburgh.
She always wanted to find her biological parents, and 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you just didn't have very many avenues. It was all dead ends, and Pennsylvania is one of the hardest places to get any information.
My husband and I were watching a reunion show one evening, and they mentioned DNA testing. So without me knowing, he ordered me a DNA kit. However, my husband found out that he could upload my data to MyHeritage.
We got a big hit with a possible aunt or a possible half-sister, so we were doing some research, and we thought we identified who her mother was.
And then I got a message from Cathy, and she told me to call her. I called her, and I said, "Hi, Cathy, this is Karen. I understand you may have some answers for me." And she said, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Okay, well, what are they?" And she said, "I am your birth mother."
There's not anything that can describe that feeling.
When I was 17 years old, I had Karen, and I gave her up for adoption. They didn't want us to go to the nursery to see the babies, but I used to sneak there all the time to go see her. And then she was gone. I wondered about her for all those years, where she was, what she looked like, what her family was like.
About your whole life, and you dream of that day and wonder if it's ever going to happen, and then it's finally happening.
And to know that somebody that I gave away is that interested in finding me and cares about me, it's just an overwhelming feeling. I can't describe it. She looks so much like me. It was like looking in a mirror.
Just to know that she used to sneak and see me all the time against everybody's wishes. It's probably why I'm such a rebel myself. Now I know where I get it.
Without the MyHeritage DNA information, I don't think we would have found her. It shows you your genealogy, like what parts of the world you came from, and it was so amazing that I went and did it myself.
I am very thankful to MyHeritage. I have grandchildren that I didn't even know existed. There's always that hole in your heart, and now it's closed. And it's just unbelievable.
Now you've seen the video, Roy's going to talk you through the story behind the story.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite, Rafi. So as you can see, my research team is getting the tips for our amazing user stories from all kinds of channels. In this case, the story came from Doug. You saw him in the video. He's Karen's husband. And on May 2017, he called our support team in Israel, in Tel Aviv, Israel, and asked to share, he wanted to share the successful match that his wife got with MyHeritage. And the message that he gave to our representative, Tal, from telemarketing in Tel Aviv was, his wife found her birth mother just after a few days with us. She did a test with another company and found her through us. And this was amazing because this is a case when a user is actually calling us to share the amazing story. So we contacted her and we asked to hear more about the amazing story and to see if there is anything we can help in further research. So the story was quite amazing. Cathy, the mother, she was only 17 when she got pregnant in Pittsburgh, and she was sent to a Catholic home for unwed mothers when she was forced to hand over her daughter for adoption. And she was allowed to see her baby, as she said on the video, just briefly after the delivery, before the child was given away to the nursery. And Cathy said that there wasn't a day that when she didn't think about the daughter she had to give up. And she was wondering what happened to her, if she had a good life. And this was an issue. And I must say that I hear it all the times from people that are giving up their kids for adoption with all kinds of circumstances. And they're always saying that there's not every day they're thinking about their children, trying to find out what happened to them and if they have a good life. So Karen, Doug's wife, she grew up in a loving and warm adoptive family, but she was always wanted to meet her mother, and she recalls being assigned to create a family tree in third grade without knowing who she is and where to start. So Karen did the DNA test that her husband purchased to her, and she did it with another company, but didn't get any significant results. One day, Karen's husband, he learned that he can upload the raw data to MyHeritage, and only a few days after, Karen received an email saying that she got a close match, a mother. So after 50 years of wait, Karen and Cathy found each other thanks to MyHeritage DNA. And we contacted both of them, and we offered our help. And only a few days after, we flew Cathy from Baltimore to Greensboro, North Carolina, to meet her mother, Karen, for the first time. It was a very, very exciting meeting. We are in consistently contact with Karen. She's updating us on every step in her life. She feels that we have big part in her life right now, and this is very exciting for us because we are grateful for this opportunity to help people finding their biological families. And I must say that since then there was a little bit development in the story. Since then, the mother and the daughter are spending time together and getting to know each other. And a few weeks ago, Karen told us that she became a grandmother, which makes Cathy the great-grandmother. And in the next few days, they are going to meet once again, and this time to see the newborn baby. So this is an amazing story, and this is only 3 examples of amazing stories of DNA matches thanks to MyHeritage DNA and people that are finding biological families all over the world.
And with Karen and Cathy, they were interested in telling their story, and they let us know that they were happy to tell their story. And in fact, there was a local TV news station in North Carolina that were interested in their story and did a news report on their reunion and them coming together and meeting each other for the first time, and the fact that they had taken a DNA test in order to find each other. And for us, the cherry on the cake was a few weeks ago when we were contacted by Karen to let us know about a special award that the news reports had actually received. Now, instead of telling you about it, I'm going to show you the recording that I'm going to show you is actually a recording that Karen had taken where she is watching the results, and I'm going to let it run for another few seconds so you can hear her response and her reaction and just how much it means to her. Before I press play, if we would love to, as we approach near the end of the webinar, we'd love to have your comments and questions, or just let us know where you are in the world. So do let us know in the chat box, and I'm going to move over now to this great video that runs for a minute or two.
Reporters can sometimes find stories that might otherwise be overlooked. Here are a number of interesting ones the judges liked.
The nominees for Light Feature News Report are Barbara's Day, WSMV, Can Man, WHBQ, Daniel's Journey, WXII, Finding Mom, WGHP, Guitar Artist, WZTV, I Loved All the Things About Her, WVLT, Nashville's Notebook, WTBF.
This one goes to Finding Mom.
Oh, Doug, we won!
In 2016, when she found out she was pregnant and wound up at Rosalia, a home run by Catholic nuns.
This is tough.
Doug, we won!
Discourage us from seeing them after they were born.
Buckley couldn't be here tonight. He's a friend of mine, asked me to accept this in his honor, but he's a consummate professional. I've seen this man's work. Some of you have seen his work if you live in the Triad. The Buckley Report. Anything that Bob touches, he puts his heart and soul in. But he also has an unbelievable team that works behind him. I had the honor of working at GBH back in 1988.
So apologies for the shaky camera work, but I thought it would be really great to show you how not just the reunions take place, but actually the impact that has, how powerful these stories are, and then what happens in the weeks and months after. As Roy mentioned, they're now celebrating a new child, a grandchild, but also they were able to take pleasure in the fact that so many people saw their story and appreciated, and in fact were inspired by their story. So Karen sent us that clip, and so you're listening to a webinar to hear about stories of reunions through genetic genealogy, but in fact these stories are Emmy award-winning stories, so you should know and be happy to hear that. Again, that you can find all of the videos on the MyHeritage YouTube page, but we just wanted to show you that nice cherry on the cake of Karen and Cathy's story. So that brings us to the end of just three of the stories that we wanted to highlight and share with you, and the reunions that have taken place and the stories behind the stories. As many of you will remember from the beginning of the webinar, we have been inspired by these stories, and we've taken it upon ourselves as a cause to try and help many, many others. MyHeritage is proud to be involved from time to time in pro bono campaigns where we can use our skills and our resources and our abilities and our knowledge to apply that on a larger level. And so we have launched, as I mentioned, I would like to just take the last couple of minutes of this webinar to give you some information about DNA Quest, so that you can help us spread the word. All of the stories you've heard about today have a theme running through them, in that they are people who are searching for their biological family, and were able to do so through a combination of genealogy and DNA testing, ultimately genetic genealogy. And so we feel that now is the opportunity. There are hundreds of thousands of people across the US who are looking for their family, but also many of the biological parents are maybe at an age where there is not much time. They themselves are searching, and there might not be much time for them to enjoy that relationship and all those lost years. So we feel that this is we are at a special moment where there is an ability to take part in genetic genealogy to find those answers, but also to be able to help those people who are actively searching and have been doing so for many years. So our aim is to help adoptees and their birth families reunite through genetic genealogy. We're going to be providing 15,000 DNA kits for free, and we are encouraging everyone who is interested and would like to find their biological family to go on to DNAquest.org. That's DNAquest.org, and fill in the short form so that we can be able to provide them with a DNA kit. If you know of people who are in that situation and are looking for their family, then please share DNAquest.org with them. You can post it on social media so that your contacts and your friends can know about it. We need to reach as many people and help as many people as we possibly can. The applications are open until the end of April the 30th, so time is of the essence. In May, we're going to be going through all the applications and going to be sending out 15,000 DNA kits. And so in June and July, we hope to have not just the stories that you've seen or the dozens of stories that we've seen over the last year or so, but to have hundreds and thousands of successful reunions that are taking place. And we think actually that could have a huge impact across the US, have a cumulative effect where there are people who are searching. We can have that all of those people in the database and to be able to provide them with those resources and the expertise. And in order to do that, we've assembled an advisory board of some of the key stakeholders and organizations that are also working on behalf of the adoptee community. You may recognize some of the names here. Fantastic organizations and fantastic people that have dedicated years of their lives to be able to help the adoptee community. Some of them adopted themselves and have then gone on to find a biological family. So we're working with our partners, with our advisory board, who are steering us on their professional expertise and also to help spread the word to be able to try and make DNA Quest as successful as possible. So before we open up to comments and questions, we really urge you, this is something we feel very strongly about, as I hope you've seen from some of the stories and the way that we talk about these stories. But now is the opportunity where you can get involved and you can have an impact. So if you yourself are adopted, sorry about that. If you yourself are adopted, please get involved. Please apply and also let your friends know. Thank you.
And thank you, Rafi and Roy. You did mention and you warned us to have that tissue ready, but it was in my other room and my headset was already on, and I couldn't participate in the tissue. Amazing stories, and the comments that are coming in here in the chat log are incredible. Debbie says she's got goosebumps. Marie talks about her tears. Sue says, what a great presentation. And by the way, if you've had a success story like this, tell us about it in the chat log. Maybe just a brief paragraph there, or if you are looking to reunite, tell us a little bit about it here, and we'll talk about it here in the Q&A session. Wonderful. Thanks so much. I'm going to switch this back over to me. Let's do just a couple of items of business here, and we'll do some door prizes. Upcoming live webinars. Boy, the next couple of months, we've got all kinds of DNA-related webinars, specifically March 27th on how DNA testing can reveal your ethnic roots. And these are all the MyHeritage webinar series on Tuesdays. Coming up in April, we'll have Genealogy for Advanced Users, Grow Your Family Tree Online. And then April 24th, get the most from the MyHeritage search engine for historical records. And then a special appearance by the founder and CEO of MyHeritage, Gilad Jafet, on Wednesday, May the 2nd. Register today, and then we'll see you then. Okay, let's go for door prizes. So who out there is hoping for a MyHeritage DNA test kit? And before we go and pick the winners here, Rafi or Roy, tell me a little bit about how we get one of these, where you get it, how long does it take to have the results processed? Can you tell us just a little bit about the actual test, Rafi?
Sure. So MyHeritage DNA kit can be found either on our website, myheritagedna.com, or on Amazon, and it's super simple to use. You get it in the post, and it's a simple cheek swab, and so there's no blood or saliva involved, and you just swab the inside of a cheek for around 30 seconds, and then you send it off to our lab in Houston, Texas, and wait approximately 3 to 4 weeks, and then you'll get in via an email your results, and that will be two things. It will be the breakdown of your ethnicity, so it will be your ethnic regions by your DNA as percentages, and then the second thing are the matches. So those are people that you're related to, that you share DNA with, that have also taken a DNA test, or, as we explained, for some people, uploaded their DNA, and we will tell you how much DNA you share, what percentage, the estimated relationship, and a whole load of information. We've recently released new tools, such as a chromosome browser and also a chromosome browser one-to-many, which for many genealogists out there is an incredibly powerful and a useful tool to be able to really understand more about their match. And it's very easy to use. So that's how you can get a kit.
Okay, and our next step here today, look for that hand-raising button there in your webinar control panel, everybody. And if this is something that you'd like to throw your name here in the pool for the door prizes, then click that hand button just once, and I'll go and have my door prize picker machine here go and randomly pick our door prize winner. Okay, I've got it here, and our first winner. Now, notice that I said our first winner. This will be the first of two of these. Is going to be Happy McQ. Maybe you don't have the entire name there, but I think you probably know who you are, so congratulations. And let me go to my next slide, which just happens to be the exact same slide. So it just reminds me, let's do this again. So let's go back to this door prize picker, and we're going to find Susan Hamblin. Susan, congrats. I want to hear you jumping up and down, yelling at your monitor. It is exciting. Okay, then let's go on to this slide. So the questions panel. Okay, so again, if you have questions, go ahead and type them in, and we've got both Rafi and Roy here. By the way, Steve, who picked up his DNA kit at Roots Tech, he writes in saying he's just waiting for the results. So, Steve, I know it's exciting. Good luck. It's, one of my favorite emails comes to me each Sunday, which is the email of the new DNA matches that MyHeritage has found. So, Steve, you'll get to watch for that. And Cassandra also writes in saying thanks for that tissue alert. She enjoyed that. And then finally, let me just share Yvonne, who says, amazing, inspiring, and powerful stories of reuniting child to parent. Well done, MyHeritage. So, Yvonne, glad that you're here today. Now, Roy and Rafi, one of the commonly asked questions here is one that you have answered, but perhaps it would help if using my monitor here. Can you walk me through on MyHeritage? Where do I go to actually upload the data that you may have downloaded from another test? So Peggy, she's done a DNA test on it with another provider, and she's downloaded the raw data. Where on this site do I go to upload that?
Well, that's a good question. I think you should click on the DNA first
All
of
right.
all, and then you see that you have a section says upload DNA data.
Okay, I'm
That's
going to
right.
click on that right there.
That's right. And then you can start to upload it.
Okay, so
And-
I'll click on Start here on the left.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Whose DNA am I uploading? So either yours
Ex-
from your own test or someone
Excellent.
else's.
This is very important. You should notice this because there were a few cases when people upload someone else's data to their names, and then they didn't understand why they don't get matches, or they get matches to people that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But eventually, this was the problem because they uploaded wrongly. So
Okay.
it needs to be careful and to upload it right.
All right, so make sure to select the right choice here. We put check marks, and then click Upload. And looks like we also have instructions down here for if you need to know how to download from another site. Very good.
Exactly. How to download from each company, because you have a few DNA tests that you people are getting, and you have different ways to upload their data.
Okay.
But you can upload the data from all companies.
Good. Thanks so much.
A couple of very simple tips also for people to be aware of is that they should firstly download the DNA test as a file if they have done it with another company, and then all they have to go to is myheritage.com/upload, where you'll get to the same page that Jeff is on now, and then you just have to follow the instructions. It's super simple, and another thing that you will be able to notice is that actually you can manage multiple kits. So if you are helping someone, or if a member of your family and friends have also done a test, then you can upload a number of kits, as long as you make sure, as Rory said, to flag it that it's someone else's. But once you do that, you can have multiple kits that you're managing and that you can check on their behalf.
Okay, so I'm seeing that right here, Rafi, under the DNA menu and then Manage DNA Kits. I'm going to click on that just since you brought that up. So I've got several here personally. So I've got my parent, and I've got everyone's permission here to be able to show this. But here's Dad and Grandpa, Grandma, my father-in-law. It shows when I uploaded these. So it's been almost a year, I guess, since I've uploaded these. And I do get in the emails that come to me each week, it does show me new DNA matches for each one of these people. So very good. Well, okay, thank you. Let's go back to the second most commonly asked question here in the questions panel, and this one's specifically from Carla. She's wondering, how far back can DNA work with adoptions? So for example, we have a great-grandparent who was adopted, or someone more 4 generations ago. Can DNA help going that far back? What's the process? What do we have to do?
This is exactly when you need to use genealogy together with DNA match, because if we are talking about ancestors who were adopted, then if you are getting matches, DNA matches, you will probably get with less significant matches. You know, the match, the DNA, the shared DNA won't be so high, but with this DNA with this shared DNA, you will be able to start. This is a starting point for research. So you will need to use the DNA matches together with genealogy, and to try to find out the right path. You know, the shared ancestor. So this is possible, but this is complicated. But still, exactly like Sheila was able to find her biological father thanks to genealogy and DNA. People can do it. It's possible, but it's difficult.
Okay. Well, thanks, Roy. Let's go to a question here from Chris, who says, how does one approach a possible sibling to take a DNA test to confirm their parentage? Do you have any thoughts or guidance for Chris?
I think that's a really, really good question, and I think each case is slightly different. I think there are some people that firstly on the channel, whether it's via Facebook, whether it's via email, and I think, or if there is a mutual friend, or if you know of someone that can contact on their behalf, and I know we've seen many people that when they've contacted them, they've made it very clear from the beginning that they are contacting them, they don't want anything from them, and that they are reaching out, and that they're also showing the research that they've done. And so those are a couple of the tips that I would give, and I'm sure Roy would have others.
Yeah. Anything else come to mind, Roy?
Yeah, this is actually things that we are handling every day. I mean, we are in contact with users that are looking for their family members, and sometimes they need to contact people and to ask them to take a DNA test. And these cases are very sensitive. So, as Rafi said, to prepare your research before, the background, why you want to contact this person, and why do you think you need him to take the DNA test? Why do you think you are related to him? Can help to convince someone to take the DNA test, but it's not something that we can give a tip and that's it.
Yeah.
It is sensitive. I mean, we are in contact with people that sometimes needs their time. So even when you know that this person is related to you, if he needs more time to process it, just give it to him. And believe me, he will think about it. He won't be able to think about any other thing besides of that.
Yeah.
So just give this person the time to process and try to contact him after a few weeks and see if he changes his mind, and if he's now willing to do it, and provide him all the information that you have. This is basically it.
Okay. Well, very good. Thanks. Let's go to this question from Hope, who says, well, she's waiting for her DNA from that she bought from MyHeritage at RootsTech, but she would like to upload her daughter-in-law's and her son-in-law's tests, who have been, she has those results from another provider. She's wondering what is the cost to upload the raw results into MyHeritage?
Hope, that's a great question, and it's a really easy one to answer because it's completely free. And so when we launched MyHeritage DNA, we took the very important decision that we are aware that people have taken different DNA tests with different companies, but the ability to upload for free is really invaluable, because then as any genetic genealogist or search angel will tell you, to have your DNA as many pools as possible. So we made the decision you can upload it. It's currently free to upload. As Jeff talked through just before, you just go to the upload and you can upload multiple kits. And if you're not sure how to do that, you just follow the instructions. You can assign that it's someone else's. If you accidentally assign it to yourself, you can manage your kit and reassign. We give you all the abilities to manage those kits, manage as many kits as you want. And so it's free. I encourage you to do it because it's free. Why not?
Okay. I like that price. Thanks so much. Now, Deborah is wondering, is this an autosomal test? And we've heard of Y-DNA and X and mitochondrial. Is this an autosomal DNA test that we get with a MyHeritage DNA test?
Yep, so the MyHeritage DNA test is autosomal. which is the most prevalent test that we see on the market. There are great uses for the mitochondrial and Y-DNA testing, and they have their uses as part of their research. But the autosomal does give that ability across the maternal and paternal side, which we think is very important for genetic genealogy. If you are interested in building your family tree, you're going to be interested in the maternal side as well as the paternal side. So an autosomal test gives you that scope and gives you that look into both sides, and yeah.
Okay, thanks so much. Let's go to a question here from Renata, who's in Australia. Can MyHeritage DNA be purchased in Australia?
Another really good question. Thank you very much, Renata. Yes, the answer is yes. You can purchase it in every country around the world that it's legally possible to. There are 3 or 4 countries where it's not possible, but you can purchase it just by going onto myheritagedna.com and anywhere around the world. As the largest, most global family history and DNA company, we have over 93 million users around the world, and MyHeritage is available in 42 languages. So in Australia, obviously, you're going to be accessing it in English, but there are many other countries around the world where people can both build their trees, but also purchase and use a DNA kit in many languages. Because we're the most global, you are more likely to receive a match with people around the world, because we've seen lots and lots of people in Australia have purchased the kit, as well as in Europe, as well as South America. And so it's really exciting to see all of users who have been building their trees over many, many years, who are now picking up the baton and also taking part in their DNA testing and genetic genealogy and making the most out of all of the tools there. But it also means that if you take a DNA test, you will likely have matches with people from around the world.
All right.
Rafi, you forgot to mention that we had a reunion recently between a user from Australia and a user from the Netherlands. 2 siblings who got a match.
You are quite right. Thank you so much, Roy, for reminding me. Just yesterday, we had a user, 2 sisters, one of whom was adopted. She was born in Holland, in the Netherlands, in Europe, and she was adopted by an Australian family. And she, in fact, connected. They both taken a DNA test. They matched with each other a few weeks ago, and on Thursday they met each other, and on Monday, just yesterday, they were on Dutch TV telling their story. And actually, Roy, you can talk about another story of 2 siblings who are actually originally from South Korea, and now live in Sweden, and that's also another example of a global reunion.
Yes, it's another story that we are working on. In this case, we are giving the 2 siblings time to process it, because this is a very sensitive case. There are 2 Korean adoptees, South Korean adoptees. They are in the age of 25, both of them living 500 kilometers separate, and they did a DNA test without expecting to find anything. They just wanted to know their ethnicity, to check, maybe to find matches, but they for sure they didn't plan to find such a strong match, to find and to get a match of siblings in Sweden. I mean, they were expecting to find family members in South Korea. So now, when they found out that they both were sent to Sweden and given up for adoption, they are planning to go back to South Korea and to find out who was the biological mother and where were they born. And they are in the middle of a journey. It's a very, very sensitive journey. They are so happy that they found each other, but they need the time to process it. So we offer them to meet. We offer to fly them if they want to arrange this reunion ASAP, but they asked a few weeks to think about it, even though they are speaking on the phone every day. And they are chatting on Skype, on video calls, but you know, the first meeting, it's something that they need to process. So we are giving them the time, and we will follow them, and we will help them to get to South Korea if needed. And this is going to be a beautiful family reunion, and it happens in Sweden of two South Koreans. So this is a small world, I guess.
Well, thank you, Roy. Now, I am very interested. I love these reunion stories, and you guys have mentioned the there's videos or the full length videos over on, was it your YouTube channel? Is that right? I want to.
Yes, exactly.
I want to go there. How do I locate it? Just go to youtube.com and then / something, or how would I most easily find it?
No, go to youtube.com and then search for My Heritage, and you can click on the channel.
Let's see. So My Heritage YouTube, perhaps.
Exactly. Now you're in My Heritage channel.
Okay. All right. So
you
everyone,
can see all the videos.
I'm going to grab that link and put it in everyone's chat area so you can have direct access to it. So there you go, everyone.
Fantastic. We also have user stories that were not filmed on video, and you can find them in My Heritage user stories page. It's
is that here, or is that a different one?
We are constantly updating and adding more content to more videos to the YouTube page. They're both stories, but also educational materials, or just if you're looking for something a bit lighthearted, different people who have done their tests and are talking about their results. And so also for educational materials, we are posting things on a regular basis. So feel free to give our YouTube page a subscribe so that you can be notified of new videos.
Well, good. And notice I'm subscribed here. Each week, my kids, I don't know how much they love it, but we sit down on the couch and turn on the YouTube channel on our TV, and we watch we watch some of these together. I really enjoy those. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to some questions here. First of all, Marna had a success story. She says she and her brother lives in Texas. She found her birth family with the help of angels from an adoption registry. Her brother's still looking. She says she's bought him a couple of DNA tests and will now have him upload to My Heritage. So Marna, let us know how it goes. I want you to keep me personally updated on that. And then June writes in saying she connected with a cousin in Australia via My Heritage DNA. We became Facebook friends and support each other virtually. So June, congrats on. I know it's exciting. And Marna writes back
Jeff,
saying she will stay in touch.
I think it's worth letting people know because there are some amazing stories and comments in the chat box. But after this webinar is finished, there are a number of different opportunities to let us know or update the community through our Facebook page. You can also send us an email to stories@myheritage.com, and that will reach both of us as well as a couple of other members of the research team. And there are, as you would have seen with the stories that we've heard today, there are a number of different ways where we have met and started working with these reunions through customer support, through social media, through DNA detectives. And so we encourage you to really let us know whether you need any more assistance, or in fact, if you have completed your search and you found someone, we love to hear about each and every story. So feel free to leave a comment in the My Heritage Facebook page and also in stories@myheritage.com.
Okay, thanks, Rafi, and I've put that email address there in the chat log. We've got just a few more minutes. Let me ask some of the other commonly asked questions here. Willeen says, does one need to be a subscriber at My Heritage to use the DNA program there?
So you don't need to be a subscriber. If there are, as I mentioned before, millions of people who are building their family trees and are either using our freemium version, where you can build your tree up to around 250 people and have access to a number of tools. There are also lots of people who are subscribing to be able to make the most out of all the tools and over 8.4 billion historical records available. However, you can also purchase or upload, as we've discussed, your DNA kit, and you do not need subscription. You can contact your matches, and you can access a whole load of tools and getting your as well as getting your ethnicity results and get your matches. None of that involves a subscription, and it is just either involves the purchasing of the kit or the uploading.
All right, appreciate it. You're doing a real good job with me throwing all these questions your way. I've got another one here. This one from April, who's wondering about privacy. She says, when you upload your DNA, your raw data, and you check those suggested boxes, she's wondering how safe is your privacy? Does everyone now have access to all of your data?
I think that's probably the best question of today so far. Thank you for asking it. It's really important for everyone to be aware that we take privacy incredibly seriously. MyHeritage doesn't own your DNA results, and your DNA is the most important thing to you. And so we take it very, very seriously. We don't own it. You can manage and control everything that happens with it, either in the settings. You can turn off matches. If you want us to delete and destroy your DNA match, your DNA swab, then we can do that. You have complete control, and you do what you want with it. And so that's a really, really good question that's, I think, very, very important, and it's something that we've thought of long and hard for people to have the confidence in taking a DNA test. We have to also provide the reassurance that your privacy is of the utmost importance. And so we don't share those matches. If you receive a match to someone, you can contact them through the messaging system within MyHeritage. If there is someone who has started building a tree and already has a tree, and you are a match with them, you have to ask permission to have access to their tree, because it's something that they have worked on. So both with trees and also with DNA, the privacy is very, very important.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks for your good answer. Now, Rafi and Roy, what I found with my personal matches is I'm getting new matches here at MyHeritage, especially international matches. Those matches that I don't find in other providers. And so April's wondering, is there an advantage for her to add her daughter's DNA from another provider into MyHeritage data? So would that be one of the primary advantages? Would be the new matches that I would get, and especially international, or are there others?
So the more people that have uploaded or taken a DNA test, the better it is, both for them and for you. And so you're going to have matches, but also through the tools that we've developed, you'll also be able to see the matches and whether they fall on your mother or your father's side. So myself, I have bought kits as presents for my parents and my grandparents, and that information allows me to identify all of those matches, not just those matches who they are, but also how they are related to me. And so I can triangulate and check if they are also matches of my parents. And so the more information you add, the better it will be. And it has that exponential effect, as well as the fact, as we've discussed, you're going to have matches with people from around the world. And if nothing else, it gives you somewhere to stay next time you choose your vacation. On behalf of MyHeritage, thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thanks, Rafi, and thanks, Roy. Wonderful presentation here today. Looking forward to next time. And do send in your stories to stories@myheritage.com. Send them to me. Send them to MyHeritage's Facebook page. But it's been really enjoyable. So thanks, you guys, and thanks to all of you, wherever and whenever you are around the world, for sharing part of your day with us. And remember, life is short. Do genealogy first. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thanks.